Hello everyone, welcome to this week's GT Sport Daily Race C race review. Group 2 at Spa. Grid start, powerful car, long straight, overpowered slipstream. What could possibly go wrong in this one? So here are the race settings for this one. We've got 9 laps of Spa in Group 2 cars. Fuel consumption at times 2, tyre wear at times 8. We've got the racing medium and the racing hard tyres both available. And as we look at the race details, for some reason Polyphony Digital have made both these tyres mandatory, which in more ways than not actually limits the strategy, as it eliminates the possibility of doing the no stop on the hard tyres. Now before we get into the race action, just want to say a thank you to one of my subscribers and a regular comment on my commenter on my videos, Diamond Eyes, who made me this lovely Iron Brew inspired livery for the Nissan GTR. Which we will feature in some of the race action as the video progresses. But thank you very much for that. It's very, very cool. It's actually a very cool livery, so do check that one out and get it on your Nissan GTR. Moving on to the race action, of course we've got that grid start to worry about, and obviously that's going to lead to quite a lot of carnage into turn 1 if you're towards the mid-pack, and particularly towards the rear of the grid. I did a few races on the Womble Skipper account in Oceania, starting from the back, and literally was pretty much a lottery as to whether you get through the first corner without a penalty just before the bumping and jostling. However, on this account, we're on Womble Boss account, we have put in a reasonably decent qualifying lap, starting in second position this one. Don't make a great start, try to brake late into the first corner at La Source. But we get through penalty free, and that's pretty much all you can ask for at the first corner in this race. However, firmly in the slipstream of P2, Pello VGA, the Frenchman, can we make a move down towards Lecum. He's obviously got the slipstream from the leader, so it's not going to be a formality at this point. We are closing up very, very slightly, but we're not going to be close enough to make too much of a move into the chicane at Lecum, and we're just going to settle into third place as this race gets underway. Having a lot of trouble with the starts, I have to say. Can't seem to get the GTR, the 2016 GTR off the line at all compared to some of the people around me. Maybe something I need to kind of do a little bit of practice on as the week progresses. Regularly losing positions, unfortunately. Coming towards the end of lap number 1 here, we're going to give the fellow Brit who's now moved into second the slightest of taps on the backside and pick up that 1 second penalty. And this race was very, very frustrating. For some reason it is so sensitive for any kind of contacts in Group 2. It seems to be much easier to pick up a penalty at the moment than it was in even the Group 4 race last week, and especially Brands Hatch, where you could be a little bit more door-to-door action there seemed to have been accepted. Now we do know that PD can adjust the penalty system on the fly through the servers in terms of sensitivity. It does appear to me that they've possibly moved that sensitivity up a little bit in the last couple of weeks. However, there we go, we serve that sort of 1 second penalty. Fortunately only lose the 1 position. The field managed to spread out a fairly decent bit over the course of that opening lap and a half, so the damage is not absolutely terrible, and not too much longer into the race we're going to make that position back, passing Dr. Week's Wages there. Down before Blanchimon, one of the more sensible drivers I came across on this combination. Realised I was the quicker driver, I'd caught him up quite quickly and yielded the position without too much of a fight. But you can see there, coming out of La Source, we get on the throttle too eagerly and surrender that position once again. So set about catching up with Mr. Dr. Weekly Wages, make the pass again down towards Lecum. Again, sensible driving there from that driver, doesn't try to fight it. And just realises if we try to go side by side through Lecum, fair chance we're going to pick up a penalty for one of us, and it's just going to cost us time. So good racecraft there, I think, from that driver, and one of the sort of, I have to be honest with you, few drivers that I've experienced in this race exhibiting a little bit of sensible driving. Most people just seem to be determined to fight absolutely everything into every corner, which I must say has led to quite a frustrating experience in quite a lot of these races as you keep picking up silly penalties. Dr. Weekly Wages though is going to feature again in this race here. So we've made our pit stop there, as you've seen. We're catching back up with him. He's made a mistake at Pouon, goes wide into Campus, I believe that corner is called. We try to go round the outside, we make a very slight contact, and we pick up a 1 second penalty with Dr. Weekly Wages. Goes wide there into Stavlo 1, and we're back up into 4th place. Now, he did apologise at the end of the race for that contact. Not really his fault, just the penalty system being the penalty system, and given that he'd already technically just let me overtake him twice, I certainly had no hard feelings whatsoever. So if you happen to be watching the video, Dr. Weekly Wages, then I do appreciate the apology, and I appreciate your extremely sensible racecraft. So coming out of pull-on there, the fellow Brit who was leading the race, started in pole position, has made a mistake into pull-on. That's going to allow us to move up into 2nd place, halfway through lap number 8. And we've only got the Frenchman ahead of us, of Pello VGA, who managed to pass us at the beginning of the race into La Source. Despite our best efforts, we closed the gap down quite a lot over the final lap, but not enough to make a move. Get close enough, and it's 2nd place we have to settle for. But not a terrible result at the end of the day, given the couple of penalties that we picked up. So let's move on to the next race, or sort of brief highlights of the next race anyway. So starting this one in 2nd place, half a second slower than P1, so unlikely that we're going to really challenge them that much. However, if we can get the jump on them at the start, perhaps we can then use that dirty air, and I'll probably be slightly better on tyre wear to maybe sort of snatch a victory here. But our kind of blues off the line are to continue. You can see how much better P1 got away from us there. P3 is alongside us. I actually surrendered the position, but he just continues to push us wide into La Source, and that gives another 3 cars the opportunity to go up the inside. So from starting P2, we're now sort of looking at P6 on the run down to Eau Rouge and Radion, and another race blighted by a poor start. But let's see if we can fight our way through back in this one. We've got a 2008 Nissan GTR ahead of us. I've actually used the 2008 GTR a number of times, as well as the 2008 Lexus, and they are actually very, very good cars. I would certainly recommend give them a little bit of a try. I don't think they're as quick as the Nissan GTR, but just the way they pop off the line means you don't really have to worry about trying to get a decent start. And certainly something that I've kind of moved towards as the week's gone on is using the 2008 cars, just so I don't have to worry about that start. As you can see, I don't seem to be very good at getting this 2016 car off the line anyway, so it's been working to my advantage in that regard. So we're back up into 5th place. I think the Finnish driver, or maybe served a penalty or something, I can't quite remember because I was too busy talking about other things. But you can see the leader has checked out. I trade Bitcoin. He's a top split player. See him often in the sort of top FIA top splits, so not shy of a bit of speed. He's taking advantage of the opening lap shenanigans to get out of there. And we're down in 5th place now. We've got 2nd, 3rd and 4th right in front of us, battling like rabid cats, and one of them has also got a 3-second penalty. So we're going to make up a position against them before the end of lap number 2. Now, viewer discretion warned here, what you're about to see is absolute filth and dirty. However, these are the sort of overtakes you can only make when you're a YouTuber. Now, look at that for a move. Down the inside, 1 collision, 5th place up into 2nd, out the chicane we come, no penalty, means it's all good. I think probably one of my greatest ever overtakes, if I'm completely honest with you. Make up 3 positions in 1 corner, you don't do that every day. And off we went on our merry way in 2nd place, and I thought justice, to be honest with you, given that we started the race in 2nd place and we got pushed out wide. And 2nd place we were to hold on, and given that we were to sort of pull away by 5 seconds against those other drivers, I think, you know, we had every right to keep that position. But let me know what you think in the comments about that one. But 2nd place again, or second place in a row, in the Nissan GTR 2016, in that resplendent iron blue livery is created by Diamond Eyes. So let's move on to look at some other incidents that happened in the races that I've been doing this week. In this one we are starting in 3rd place when we're in the 2008 car, and as you've seen from the strategy guide, remember I told you how they just fly off the line and you can make up 3-4 positions just by how good they get the power down. We broke a little bit too early into turn 1 right enough, and we allowed the pole position man to go back up the inside, and he's going to kind of lead the way down to Eau Rouge and Radion for the first time. But we are going to be in that slipstream, and we're going to have a very good chance of leading this race down into Lecum. However, Stuntman Mike 24 is going to show us how not to break into Lecum from the inside as he tries to win the race in the first couple of corners. Breaks far too late into the chicane. We go underneath, take the lead. I think Stuntman Mike actually falls down into P8 before he manages to cover up to P4 at the end. But I think we've all been there and done that one, haven't we? I was to make a few absolutely criminal errors myself in this one, coming into the pit lane, which I was having nearly as many problems with as getting off the line in the 2016 GTR. So let me see if you can spot what happens here. Into the pit lane we come, and out we go. Yep, I forgot to hit the change tyres button and kept the same set of tyres on that one. And in another incident that involved the pit lane in the 2008 Nissan GTR, perhaps one of my most embarrassment moments I've ever had in the game. We don't quite get the line right into the pit lane. We've obviously got to watch out for that bollard or you get a penalty. Hit the power and we spin round and have a bit of an Austin Powers moment as we try to find reverse gear. Eventually the game takes pity on me and resets me back out onto the middle of the chicane. Thankfully we successfully make it into the pit lane on the second time of asking. So on the whole, I was really looking forward to this combination Group 2 at Spa. I thought it'd be a really good race, and I do enjoy driving the cars around the circuit, but I have to be perfectly honest with you, in a lot of ways the kind of racing has failed to deliver on the action front for me. A lot of my races have just been very, very boring in terms of certainly looking back on them. Quite good fun to drive, more like tense kind of drives where you've got a car close with you for the majority of the race behind, but not really able to sort of get close enough to make a move, or you're sort of desperately trying to catch the car in front. I've had a lot of races that way where, as I said, quite enjoyable to drive for myself but not very good for a sort of viewing point of view. And in a lot of other ones, the sort of turn one shenanigans and then the run down to Lecum, the sort of desperation from some drivers and the moves has led to a lot of frustration and quite a lot of silly penalties. So I've not been enjoying this combination quite as much as I expected to. However, I do hope it's you out there having more fun with it than me. I'm sure there's lots of good racing to be had out there. Maybe I've just been a little bit unlucky, but in the whole, it's just not really kind of been doing it for me. Hopefully next week, and I don't know what the combination is at this point, we can get back to some better racing action for the next Daily Race C race review. But on that note, I'm going to end the video. Hopefully I've at least given you a laugh with the sort of move into the chicane where we overtook 3 cars, or the spinning in the pit lane. But until then, thank you very much for watching. Please hit the like button, please hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. And until the next video, I shall see you very soon. Goodbye now.